Hey, I'm Kara. Today I'm talking to Joivan Wade from Doom Patrol. You can catch the new season on HBO Max. We are talking about a lot of fun things right now, not your usual questions, so you'll want to stick around till the end. And make sure you're subscribed because next up I'm talking to his co-star, Diane Guerrero, who plays Jane.
I've spent quite a bit of time over the last few weeks, doing my advocacy for change and going out and protesting and also behind closed doors and trying to, do my piece to be able to bring justice and diversity. And yeah, it's been a real kind of stockhold in LA specifically. There's been a lot going on and there's been big advocacy behind it. And so yeah, if things are starting to open back up now from last week Friday, and then this week Mondays, a lot more stuff started to open back up. So normalization is coming back to us slowly but surely.
I guess. Well, hopefully normalization, but with change because
100%.
it's so needed. I've been protesting too. It's all good. I love it. I checked out your Twitter. I saw that nice video that you did, really a moving video. And I'm hopeful that it's going to really make a difference. I feel like a lot more people are, in on Black Lives Matter and really want change. Not everybody, obviously. But that's how I'm seeing it. And it's kind of exciting at the same time. I don't know. How about for you? How do you feel about everything?
Yeah, I'm really excited because I think this is the first time that, there's been such unity. You look at all of the civil rights movements in the past and there hasn't been that unity. Yes, there's been, in some sense, but it was also so very frowned upon for whites to be able to unite with blacks for that type of change. And so now where we live in more of a, multicultural, diverse community, it's more accepted and actually is advocated for, and so that's making a huge difference in terms of the standard why this is now the biggest movement in history, and it's making change. We're seeing change, and I think that it's just really important that we don't take our foot off the gas and we continue to keep pushing forward, and I'm really happy about that.
So I don't want to ask you the same question. So here's the question I'm going to ask you about Doom Patrol season 2. Good. What question are you sick and tired of everybody asking you?
The question that I'm sick and tired of everybody asking me, why would someone watch the show that isn't interested in superhero shows? And the reason why I'm sick and tired of answering that question is because I cannot stress enough that this is a show that is not centered around superheroes. It's an anti-hero show. These are essentially people that have, what we would classify as gifts, in which they would classify as curses that they don't want. And so it's all about character development and seeing these characters. And, we're touching on themes in which, are touched on in any TV show, let alone, this premium TV show, being, LGBT communities, PTSD, especially with my character Vic, and, themes in which are just not explored, period. And the world of the Doom Patrol in itself is such an exciting world, and it's such an exciting universe that it's this is something that hasn't been seen before, and it's just wackier and wilder season 2.
And isn't that really the most interesting thing is the people and their issues behind whatever you see on the surface? That's
exactly.
How I feel, right? So the human, let's see a human underneath the non-human, I guess you would say.
Yep. And that's why so many people can relate, and that's why so many people are connected to the show and find so much about the show, even when well, it's not even that they don't get to connect to the superhero side, because as a show, we don't actually push that as much. I look at a script and I don't expect to see loads of fight scenes or maybe even any fight scenes, because that's not what our show's about, So yeah, it's nice to see that people connect with it on different levels, and that it can appeal to a generation in which is, just interesting in storytelling.
Yeah, cool. And so you guys filmed it a while back, I guess?
Yeah, well, we was actually in the middle of shooting our final episode when the whole quarantine thing hit. And so we were in a position where we only had a few days left on the shoot, and we couldn't finish episode 10. Well, this is above my pay grade, so
okay.
I'm just excited as you to see what we're gonna do with that, and how we're, what our finale is gonna be essentially. We did make most of our way through it, but there was still 3-4 whole days of shooting which didn't take place, and it's so much in which we didn't get out. And I know that, you know, we were also in a position where we were trying to structure our schedule so that we would finish like the end at the end, so that it was kind of nice for our crew and cast to be able to kind of come to a crescendo. And so I know that there was some big scenes that kind of piece that whole finale together, that the finale just doesn't make sense without some of that. So I'm not too sure how we'll go about it, but however we go about it, we have some amazing creative minds and the team behind it at, you know, DC and our showrunner Jeremy Carver, and then with now the help of HBO Max as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. So I'm talking to Diane later today. So tell me some kind of secret that nobody else would know that I can bring up to her.
Okay, so Diane, I love Diane. She's we're very close friends, and I think because of we have like a bit of a camaraderie on set. So like me and Diane are always going back and forth, and you know, with some great banter. And one of the things that she hates is like there's a scene that we had in the finale of season 1, and it's a scene where we have the big cockroach and he's basically trying to kill us all, and he throws something and I end up jumping in the way to try and save Crazy Jane, like, you know, cover her. And that was just Vic's instinct, but I can tell deep down that Diane, she doesn't like that, because Vic saved her life a little bit, you know what I mean? And and then behind closed doors, Joivan saved Diane, you know? And so she won't let me live that down, and she's waiting for the day where she gets to save me. I don't think it will ever come, because Vic Stone's got it pretty much together, but yeah,
got it.
I'm sure she'll enjoy that.
So maybe when I talk to her, I can say something like, "Oh, I talked to your savior today."
Yeah. Oh, she'll love it. Please do.
Okay, I will consider it done. So I also noticed that you have a lot of videos on like acting type of how-tos, like how to do an I don't know, what do you say, an audition, how to like
how to learn lines, how
to get an agent, all that. So like, how did that, like, you feel like people ask you these things all the time, I guess, and you felt like, oh, let me just give you some help?
Yeah, so like that's probably like my biggest like question in the DM in terms of like, you know, like how acting advice. And so it's obviously extremely time consuming when you get hundreds and thousands now of messages of people asking for advice. And I want to help them. I want to be able to, you know, I was always thinking like, I wish that when I was first coming up as an actor, I had someone that I could go to, or, you know, videos from working actors who I deemed as, you know, they're actually booking work, to get some real practical advice from. And I just felt like I wanted to give that back to, you know, a lot of the aspiring filmmakers and actors. And instead of me having to type it out 150 times, create a video that I can say, you know, hey guys, you want this acting advice, I'm going to be releasing weekly videos. And also not just, you know, how-tos, but I'm going to explore that into, you know, like just lifestyle videos as an actor, you know, things on set, makeup. Like I got a video that's going to come out eventually of my costume and how I get my whole cyborg gear on, which is really interesting for, you know, whether it be makeup artists or even DC lovers or filmmakers period that want to see some high level prosthetics. So yeah, just different stuff that's just kind of opening my world and introducing, you know, my audience and my fans to me, myself, and what I get up to on a day-to-day, as well as trying to help filmmakers, and also giving some positive motivation and aspiration to a lot of people trying to do whatever it is that they want to do, and give them some self-belief in that area.
Yeah, that's a good idea too, because I would imagine, right, your DMs are like flooded, right, all the time. So what, at the beginning you would respond to everybody, and then after a while you're like, okay, I can't.
Yeah, like it's just impossible. That would be my full-time job, like sitting there and answering every question and like writing out detailed paragraphs on, okay, you should do this and you should do that. And it just starts getting to the point where I just can't keep up with it. And I don't want to ignore anyone. I don't want to not give them that advice, because I know what kind of difference that could make to their career or their journey. And so, yeah, the videos were the best way to be able to answer those questions or give that advice to a mass audience.
That's cool. So what's the website I can direct everybody to see all your videos? It's youtube.com
/Joivan Wade.
Okay.
Joiva, just my full name.
Right. Okay. Okay, great. So everybody can go there and check those out, but you're not done yet. Awesome. I have some other questions for you that you're probably not asked on the normal rotation. So you ready?
Go for it.
Okay. So what is your weirdest habit?
My weirdest habit? It depends on what one would classify as weird. Biting my nails is a big one. I don't know if that's weird, but that's like a big habit I'm actually trying to stop. What else? Weird. A weird habit that I have. Um, a weird habit that I have is that I can't do anything until I'm fully ready in the morning. Like I have to like if I can't eat my breakfast until like I've brushed my teeth and got in the shower and stuff like that. I have to feel like I'm ready
Got
to
it.
do anything. I don't know why that is. That's weird. It's really weird, but I don't know what it is. But I'm just conditioned to waking up and like being ready before I can even eat. It's weird, isn't it?
I don't think so, unless maybe it's a weekend, in which case it might feel a little weird,
Eat,
I guess.
even on
Yeah?
the weekend.
Okay, okay,
Even on the
gotcha.
weekend.
I'll give
Yeah.
you that one as weird, even though it's not that weird, but okay. If you could choose any two celebrities to be your parents, who would you pick?
Ooh, ooh. Um, to be my parents, it would have to be Will Smith for Papa. He's my biggest inspiration. Why I got into acting and was
Oh,
my biggest
really?
kind of yeah. And ooh, maybe Michelle Obama.
That would be a nice pair.
Yeah, that's a
Good
good combination,
choices.
right? Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, for sure. Okay, what's one of the biggest lessons you've learned in life?
Biggest lesson I've learned in life. I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in life is that you can do anything so long as you never give up. I think that there's often we all have things in which we want to do and we want to achieve, and the ideology of success, and what we all deem as being success in our own respective fields. But I think that we can often be drummed out of believing that we can achieve anything or we can do whatever it is that we put our minds to, and so we give up. And I find that the only way that you don't achieve that thing is by giving up. And so I've learned that through the different ventures that I've been on, whether it be via acting or entrepreneurialism and my companies and stuff. But the one thing that I've always learned is that every time I just kind of stick to my guns and persevere, there hasn't yet been something that hasn't come through. And so the biggest thing for me is, and there have been things that I have quit and that I've been like, okay, I'm not going to continue that, and they haven't come to fruition. And the things in which I did continue on have all come to fruition or are developing in that way. And so, yeah, that would be my biggest life lesson.
That's good. So I think you actually answered two of my questions, because my next one was going to be, what's your biggest lesson that you've learned in the entertainment industry? But I feel like that applies to that too, right?
Yes, but I think that I would answer that. I would be different. I'm gonna give you a different answer on that
Okay,
one.
I'll take it.
The answer I'm gonna give you is that creating your own opportunities is always the way to go. I think that we find, as whether it be actors or filmmakers generally, we're always or traditionally waiting for the phone to ring or waiting for opportunities to come. And I've been someone from the first day I started, getting into the industry, was creating my own show. I put it on YouTube. After a few months, it then blew up, and then we created a TV show off the back of it, and developed that, that mantra, if you will, consistently and persistently in everything that I've done, and which is what's put me in the position that I'm in today. And every single time I look at what the remedy of that is, it's creating my own opportunities. And when I even look at, getting an agent, or when I did get an agent, or I talk to other people, and even now I have agents that don't represent me, but are just my friends, and they say, actors that are doing their own thing and that are going out there to try and create their own opportunities are so much more appealing. And every time I've gone into a meeting or tried to pitch a show or anything, my production company, it's always the love that we are going out and doing things ourselves, and it generates so much respect. And I feel like had I not done all of that, I would never be where I am today.
Who is the coolest living legend you've ever met?
The coolest living legend, I have to say Will Smith.
Oh, so you met him.
I have, yeah.
What was your
Yeah,
experience with him?
it was actually at a premiere for Focus. So my company, The Wall of Comedy, was the largest entertainment platform in the UK and in Europe. And we basically would cover a load of different movies. Anytime a movie would come in, we'd send our influencers down to basically cover the press. And that film specifically, I said, no, guys, you're not going. I'm going. I have to meet Will Smith. And so I went,
Yeah.
and I brought one of our guys with us who did an interview, but I got to talk to him for about 10 minutes and just kind of like just give him my pure admiration and tell him how much he's inspired me to do what I'm doing, and yeah, that was the biggest thing for me. And I've got a picture that was captured shaking his hand, like our hands are connected at that time, and that picture
Nice.
is going to be framed and is going to go on my wall and never leave me.
Okay, that's very cool. Good story. Put that picture up.
It's up. It's on my Instagram.
Oh, it's on your Instagram. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I'll have to check it out for sure.
You have to like scroll down for a little minute. Send me a DM and then I'll send it to you so you can.
I will. Oh, wait, great. Now you're telling me to send you a DM. You said you get too many DMs. I don't want to flood your DMs.
Oh no, I'll go specifically and I'll see it. It's not an acting question, so.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I will. Okay, so my last question for you is, who do people think you are? So, like, what's the image do you think that other people who don't really know you have of you?
Who do people think I am? I think people, I would actually say, I feel like I'm not one to fake. I'm not one to kind of give an ulterior positioning of who I am. I'm very open. And because you have so much access to me via social media and I do put out content, I feel like I give quite a clear representation of who I am. So for someone that doesn't know me, would only see me via, my social media platforms and what the story that I tell there of who I am, which is representative of who I am, which is Joivan is an actor, he's an entrepreneur, and he's inspiring because I think that my story inspires a lot of young filmmakers generally, and just kind of people to understand that you can be in a position. I grew up in with not much money at all, and growing up in South London, to then be in a position where I now have my own house in Hollywood, and so that over the span of a few years and being able to go from bedroom to boardroom, if you will, put me in that position. And I think that people kind of admire that and look at me as someone who is inspirational, inspiring, and then down for what I do, which is an actor and a filmmaker. That's what I feel like I give off on the surface. Who did you think I was before you?
I felt like,
what does it give off? What do I give off?
I feel like you could, like you said, I feel like you give off yourself. So I feel as though like what you see is what you get in a way, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, cause there's some sort of authenticity, I guess, that comes through. And like you're saying, maybe part of it is social media or whatever, but I think maybe it's partly that. But I think that as soon as you started talking, I felt like I knew who you were. And when I asked you these questions that are like personal and a way to kind of get to know the real person, it was in sync, in line with how you come across.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, yeah. So I like that.
Good.
I'm the same way, by the way. So who you see
I can
is
tell.
who you get. So
yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Carl.
This was fun.
Appreciate you.
That was Joivan Wade. If you want to check out my talk with his co-star, Diane Guerrero, who plays Jane, definitely do that. It's a good talk too. So I'll put a link down below in the description. Thanks for watching. See you soon. If you like this video, please make sure you smash that like button and tap on subscribe for more real talks with your favorite celebrities. If you didn't like it, that's okay. Make sure you tell all your friends to check out Really Famous with Cara Mayer Robinson. They're the worst videos ever. You gotta check them out. Thanks for watching. See you soon.